Advaita looks beautiful. Very lovely. Oh, look at those. You feel like we are in Hawaii.
It's woman on Swamiji, and one little secret for Swamiji.
You can even open a little window somewhere so that you have a little ventilation. Yeah, perfect. You made it. I thought you were not coming. Ah, good. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Come forward, Chichi, if you want. Namaste and welcome to is everything on the camera and everything? I believe so. Okay. We are ready to broadcast?
We are broadcasting.
We are broadcasting, okay. It's by that thing, okay. That's all right. No problem.
We just have to turn the thing on.
Yeah,
I think it's...
Yeah, very sound, don't worry. It's happening. Yes, namaste and welcome to everybody here. A lot of people here, very happy to see all of you. Very nice. Wonderful. And there are 3 hugs and kisses. There was only 1 in the morning. Now there are 3 of them. Yes. Yes, I'm glad you have sound. That means we are all set. Where is Shivani? Is Shivani being seen here? Yes. Okay. Oh, the mic is coming in the way. Try. That's much better. We'll start with a prayer first. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. How are you? Good. Namaste and welcome to the commemorative celebration and program in the honor dedicated to Pujya Swamiji's Maha Samadhi in his honor. And we start with a musical interlude from an offering from Shanti Shivani. The mic will somehow walk to her.
Re pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nada Parameshvara Nada Tumaru Saraswati Mana Bhajale Pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nada Parameshvara Anatta Nada Adinada Gunasagara Swarupa Brahma Vishnu Mahesha Liye Muni Saraswati Mana Bhajale Pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nada Parameshvara Nada Tumaru Saraswati Mana Bhajale Pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nadi Dharani Shesha Adi Chera Suraja Adi Pavana Pani Anadana Mana Saraswati Mana Bhajale Pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nada Parameshvara Nada Tumaru Saraswati Mana Bhajale Pratama Ada Shiva Shakti Nada Parameshvara Om Ananta
Thank you, Shivani. This should be facing the altar now. How do we do that? Is that, can we put it here or something? I will sit there. Okay. We are getting ready to do Guru Paduka Archana with Dakshinamurti Ashtotra. Can they see the Padukas too? Wonderful. Thank you. So we will do the Archana first, and then after that we will move into some questions, answers, and people who want to share, etc. Please gather, whoever wants to do Archana. Come closer. There. Everybody can touch the flowers. Please pass around the flowers so that everybody can just touch it. Sound is on both, right? Yeah.
Well, it is, but this one's not plugged into the mic because it
Oh.
won't stretch that far.
Oh, why?
Because it won't stretch that far, Swami.
Oh, can we bring it from this side? Yeah, that's okay. If it's at least there, it's enough. Yeah, just touch the flowers so that it's on everyone's behalf. And generally we'll do Archana. And I will read the names. I will chant the names. Can I have the names, please? Yeah, and somebody else can also come sit if you want. Yeah. Om Mudra Pustaka Vanhinaga Vilasad Bahum Prasannanam Muktahara Vibhushanam Shashikala Bhasvat Kirito Ajnanapahamadimadimadiram Artham Bhavani Padam Nyagrodhantanivāsinam Paragurum Dhyāyāmyabhishtāptaye Om Sadgurave Namaha Om Satkritaye Namaha Om Sakshat Brahmarupaya Namaha Om Sadashivaya Namaha Om Sanakadimunistutyaya Namaha Om Sarvadharma Pravartakaya Namaha Om Sabhajyaya Namaha Om Sarvabhuteshaya Namaha Om Satchidananda Vigrahaya Namaha Om Sudham Shukalichottamsaya Namaha Om Sarvakarma Phalapradaya Namaha Om Dayapayonidhaye Namaha Om Datre Namaha Om Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Avyayaya Namaha Om Ajnanamardine Namaha Om Vijnanadayine Namaha Om Vidhihariditaya Namaha Om Charachara Gurave Namaha Om Kshetre Namaha Om Chinmudrankita Hastakaya Namaha Om Vatamula Sthitaya Namaha Om Vikshabodhitagamasarakaya Namaha Om Maunavyakhya Paraya Namaha Om Maya Nashanaya Namaha Om Maunimanitaya Namaha Om Sanchitagami Papagnaya Namaha Om Samshayachide Namaha Om Sadakritaye Namaha Om Yugadharmaharaya Namaha Om Yoktre Namaha Om Yune Namaha Om Yogyaya Namaha Om Yathartha Vide Namaha Om Yogasanasthitaya Namaha Om Yogine Namaha Om Brahma Tattva Prakashakaya Namaha Om Nigamanta Mahatattva Swarupaya Namaha Om Niyamipriyaya Namaha Om Tattvamasyadi Lakshyarthaya Namaha Om Tattvamartha Prabodhakaya Namaha Om Muniveshadharaya Namaha Om Maunine Namaha Manita Shesha Sajjanaya Namaha Om Janunyastakaraga Namaha Om Jaya Putra Vittaishanojhitaya Namaha Om Jivatmane Namaha Om Paramatmane Namaha Om Sarvatmane Namaha Om Sarvavide Namaha Om Samaya Namaha Om Asthulaya Namaha Om Ananave Namaha Om Akhrasvaya Namaha. Om Adirghaya Namaha. Om Sarvantaratmakaya Namaha. Om Apanipadaya Javanaya Namaha. Om Sarvajnaya Namaha. Om Sarvashaktimate Namaha. Om Ajaya Namaha. Om Apahatapapmane Namaha. Om Tejo Rupaya Namaha. Om Trilochanaya Namaha. Om Paramanave Namaha. Om Paramamahate Namaha. Om Parasmai Brahmane Namaha. Om Paratparaya Namaha. Om Chidrupaya Namaha. Om Chitsabhadrishaya Namaha. Om Panchakoshantarasthitaya Namaha. Om Anoraniyase Namaha. Om Mahato Mahiyase Namaha. Om Mahadadikrite Namaha. Om Nirlepaya Namaha. Om Nirgunaya Namaha. Om Neelakanthaya Namaha. Om Niyatamanasaya Namaha. Om Janma Mrityu Jarachetre Namaha. Om Jagadjanmadikaranaya Namaha. Om Mahavakyartha Bhutatmane Namaha. Om Mahatmane Namaha. Om Mitavache Namaha. Om Manave Namaha. Om Panchakshari Japaprithaya Namaha. Om Pranchakritya Paraganaya Namaha. Om Paramaptaya Namaha. Om Pranavarupaya Namaha. Om Pranavartha Prakashakaya Namaha. Om Vedaparayana Prithaya Namaha. Om Vedantaikartha Rupavate Namaha. Om Puranagamasaratmane Namaha. Om Puranaya Namaha. Om Purushottamaya Namaha. Om Puruhutadi Devedyaya Namaha. Om Punyalabhyaya Namaha. Om Parantapaya Namaha. Om Sarvarupaya Namaha. Om Sarpadharaya Namaha. Om Sarvadharaya Namaha. Om Satangataye Namaha. Om Darshanan Mukti Phaladaya Namaha. Om Duritatma Sudurlabhaya Namaha. Om Tyaktaishanashrayaya Namaha. Om Tyagi Sanyasyatma Swarupadhrite Namaha. Om Ghritaktadipa Pritatmane Namaha. Om Samsara Bhayanashakaya Namaha. Om Sarva Vaidika Sampujyaya Namaha. Om Sarva Mantra Phala Pradaya Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Srimad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Varya Shri Dayananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Incense and prasad. Incense. Put all the prasad on one plate and bring, please. Whatever has come, put it all on a plate. It's an Om cake. Ah. ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा, one more with the incense please. For the Padukas. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurus Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Yeah, do Naivedya. First Naivedya, then Arti. Somebody help to hold it also. Swaha, Bana Swaha, Bana Swaha, Savana Swaha, Mani Swaha. That's good. You can put it away. Otherwise it will be difficult to concentrate on the program. The big cake sitting in the middle of the room. So, Arati. Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam Nema vidyuto bhanti kuto yamagnihi tameva bhantamanubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Har har namah parvati pataye har har mahadeva. And while we are chanting now Ganga Stotram, everybody can come and do Arati in turn by turn. And I'll do it at the end. Yeah, I need a book, please. Somebody give me a book. So don't wait to be called. As long as you're not stampeding on someone else, please come in a turn by turn, and you can do the Arati. And those who know the Ganga Stotram can join me in chanting it. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvana Tarini Tarala Tarange Shankara Mauli Viharini Vimale Mama Matirastan Tava Pada Kamale Bhagirathi Sukhadagini Matastava Jalamahimani Game Khyatah Nahanjane Tava Mahimanam Pahi Kripa Mahima Bhagnanam Haripada Padya Tarangini Gange Hima Vidhu Mukta Dhavala Tarange Duri Kuru Mama Dushkriti Bharam Kuru Kripaya Bhavasagara Bharam Tava Jalamamalam Yena Nipitam Paramapadam Khalu Tena Grihitam Matar Gange Tvayo Bhaktah Kilatan Drashtum Nayama Shaktah Patito Dharini Janhavi Gange Khandita Girivara Mandita Bhange Bhishma Janani He Munivara Kanye Patita Nivarini Tribhuvana Dhanye Kalpalatameva Phaladam Loke Pranamati Swamna Patati Shoke Paravara Viharini Gange Vimukha Krita Tarala Pange Tava Chen Mata Shrotah Snatah Punarapi Jathare Sopi Najatah Naraka Nibarini Janhavi Gange Kalusha Vinashini Mahimo Tunge Punarasadange Punyatarange Jaya Jaya Janhavi Karuna Pange Indra Mukutamani Rajita Charane Sukhade शुभदे भृत्य शरण्ये रोगं शोकं तापं पापं हर मे भगवति कुमति कलापं त्रिभुवनसारे वसुधाहारे त्वमसि गतिर्मम खलु संसारे अलकानन्दे परमानन्दे कुरु करुणामयि कातरवन्द्ये तव तटनिकटे यस्य निवासः खलु वैकुण्ठे तस्य निवासः वरमिह नीरे कमठो मीनः किं वा तीरे शरटः क्षीणः अथवा श्वपचो मलिनो दीनः तव न हि दूरे नृपतिकुलीनः भो भुवनेश्वरि पुण्ये धन्ये देवी द्रवमयि मुनिवरकन्ये गङ्गास्तवमिममलं नित्यं पठति नरो यः स जयति सत्यं येषां हृदये गङ्गा भक्तिः तेषां भवति सदा सुखमुक्तिः मधुरा कान्ता झटिकाभिः परमानन्दकलितलतिकाभिः गङ्गास्तोत्रमिदं भवसारं वाञ्छितफलदं विमलं सारं शङ्करसेवक शङ्कररचितं पठति सुखी स्तव इति च समाप्तः शङ्करसेवक शङ्कररचितं पठति सुखी स्तव इति च समाप्तः जय जय गङ्गे जय हर गङ्गे 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 जय जय गङ्गे जय हर गङ्गे. Now we will chant the Guru Paduka Stotram. Where is that one? In the 60s somewhere. Oh, 90s. Okay. Ananta samsara samudratara naukayitabhyam guru bhaktidabhyam वैराग्य साम्राज्यद पूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कवित्ववाराशिनिशाकराभ्यां दौर्भाग्यदाबाम्बुदमालिकाभ्यां दूरीकृतानम्रविपत्ततेभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नताययो श्रीपतितां समीयुः कदाचिदप्याशु दरिद्रवर्याः मूकाश्च वाचस्पतितां हिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नालीकनिकाशपदाहृताभ्यां नानाविमोहादिनिवारिकाभ्यां नमज्जनाभीष्टततिप्रदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नृपालिमौलिव्रजरत्नकान्ति सरिद्विराजझषकन्यकाभ्यां नृपत्वदाभ्यां नतलोकपङ्क्तेः नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां पापान्धकारार्कपरम्पराभ्यां तापत्रयाहीन्द्रखगेश्वराभ्यां जाड्याब्धिसंशोषणवाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां समाधिषट्कप्रदवैभवाभ्यां समाधिदानव्रतदीक्षिताभ्यां रमाधवाङ्घ्रिस्थिरभक्तिदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां स्वार्चापराणामखिलेष्टदाभ्यां स्वाहा सहायाक्षधुरन्धराभ्यां स्वान्ताच्छभावप्रदपूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कामादिसर्पव्रजगारुडाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्यनिधिप्रदाभ्यां बोधप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम्. Please sit. Everybody can sit. There is place here with you. There is a cushion here for you. Yeah. Maybe that can be moved this side a little bit, or can it be looking at that? Yeah, that can be looking at that. That's okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, if they ask questions, I won't know. That's true. Yeah, then that one can bring here. This one can be looking at the altar. I will explain. If they ask questions or share something, I will not be able to see that. That is true. It's a little wobbly. I wonder why. It's because it's not sitting. Ah, there we go. There we go. That's much better. I'll just keep it somewhere. Yeah, here. That's good. So many questions, and in the last few days I have been getting a lot of emails with requests to touch upon a few things before we get into the sharing part of the portion of the ceremony today. Yeah, somebody is raising the hand. Yeah, if you are raising the hand, if you have a question or something, just hold it and only raise the hand in case of an emergency. Like if you if you can't hear me, suddenly the sound has gone off or something like that. Otherwise, I will make, that is wonderful that you are here, and I'm also, I'm also saying hello to you and raising my hand to you also. And yeah. So a lot of questions have been coming via email, and some of them have to do with what does, and some of these I'd like to address before getting into the sharing portion of the program. And one of them has to do with what are we going to do now. This is a very difficult. This is very difficult. It's not easy to feel like one has lost anyone, let alone someone like Pujya Swamiji. And although he is not lost, in fact, it is said, from the Upanishads, na tasya pranaha utkramanti, there is no coming back, and there is no going either. There is no coming, no going, And so therefore, some of the questions have to do with that. So I will just address some of those concerns and questions, and then we can take it from there. You may also have some questions here. Some more questions may come up here. So that is the thing. So to begin with, I am reminded of the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, an oft quoted verse that says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharyerthe natvam shochitum arhasi. Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that which is born, for it means what? That which is born. Death is certain. And for that which has died or which has come to an end, birth is certain. So this is certain means what? It is not some kind of a probability we are looking at. We are not looking at statistics. Certain means it's a law. It's Bhagavan's law that this Jagat is infinite and infinitely finite. This is what is the whole thing. And so what dies, in the Shastra we are very clear about this. What dies is meant to die. In fact, it is dying as soon as it is born. As soon as it is born, the cells start to go, correct? And even though we think, oh, I'm in the prime of life, prime of life means already there is a deterioration happening, That is, so there is on the cellular level, on all kinds of level, there is deterioration happening. To what? Not to I, the I is unaffected, to the body, to the mind, to the senses. So this is part of the law of the universe. And we see this, that our lives, what we try to do is try to make the finite infinite, And we saw this even in Pujya Swamiji's case. Each time he went to the hospital, no, not this time, not this time, certainly not this time, please, not this time. So we chant, we pray, we don't want that, whatever that is, to go. But the that is not the body. Yeah. That is just housed in the body. That is what. But we don't want that to go. We don't want, because it is along with the body, mind, sense complex, we see this going and coming and we react accordingly. And so the whole life is a very concerted effort to stop, to take care of the body and to stop it from deteriorating. Whether it's the body, my own body, or whether it's the body of somebody I love dearly. This is our vritti. This is the way we go about the life. And whenever something like this happens, then we are forced to come back to the truth of the Shastra. The Shastra prevails. Bhagavan prevails, really. And so, therefore, we have to start, looking at some of these things differently. And in our Shastra, we have this very much there, that the body, mind, sense complex, that which we call the body, mind, sense complex, is very much finite and subject to end. So really speaking, there is no birth, and really speaking, there is no death, because the I is just using the body as a house, a casing, just like you living in your house. You get tired of the house, you look for a new house, or the house is too small, you look for another house. The house has deteriorated, there are cracks in the wall, time to go to a new house. And then you just leave the house is abandoned, like a bird's nest, abandoned, and it has gone away. It's no longer needed. Another nest will be built later on. It's no longer serving the purpose. So the other verse in the Bhagavad Gita that attests to this is that the body is like a cloth. It's like the dhoti that one is wearing. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naroparani. This is the whole thing. The body is like a cloth, and the cloth, just like the old cloth, is the torn t-shirt. Nobody mourns that, correct? Nobody mourns the t-shirt that is torn, and in fact we can't wait to go shopping and get a new one, because this one is not serving the purpose any longer. And this of course doesn't answer the question, why do the body may not be torn, may not be old. Many people die young. Many times people die young. What is that? Old here doesn't mean old. it means the purpose has been served for that, for that which is housed in this shell, in the shell called the body-mind complex. Now, in the case of people, in the case of people in the world, when the person departs from the body, there is not just we don't say that there is just the physical body, that is just what we can see and interact with, but there is what is that? Sukshma Sharira. What is Sukshma Sharira? Subtle body. And then there is also a causal body, Karana Sharira. So the Sukshma Sharira, if you go back to Tattva Bodha, you will see exactly what it comprises. It comprises the various levels of the mind and the subtle elements and the organs of actions and everything and and if the mind is there, then what is there? Desires are there. So all the raga dveshas are nicely packaged in saran wrap, no leakage at all, and then all the big excess baggage of raga dveshas are carried subtly. You don't see them going, but they are slowly, the jiva is burdened with the raga dveshas, and so the subtle body, what does it look like? It looks pretty much like the body, the physical body, because that's all the jiva knows and feels at home. So the jiva conjures for itself a kind of what is that? Subtle body. And then with the help of the subtle body, which is the warehouse of raga dveshas, and travels, and the travel is financed by the causal body. Now the causal body pays the bill of this tourism. And what is the causal body? Ajnanam, Karana Shariram, Ajnanam, self-ignorance. I don't know myself, and that because of this I have all kinds of nonsensical desire that have to be fulfilled right now, and then because of the pressure of the desires there is action. So if you trace the genealogy of ignorance, you have Maha Mataji, the great matriarch. Who is that? Avidya. And Avidya has a son. And who is the son of Avidya? Kama. Kama is the son of Avidya, and the Avidya's grandson is Karma. Because of Kama there is action, and then Karma has twins, Papa Punya, yes. So the good results, from a meritorious action done in tandem with the laws of dharma, with what is correct, and then, results that are uncomfortable in this or other lives as a result of actions that are against what is called dharma. So this is Papa Punya, and Papa Punya go on to have their own child. What is that? Punar Janma. And the samsari continues. Very, very sorry, samsari, continues. This is what happens in the case of, the regular people who have not had exposure to Vedanta. This is what happens, because the subtle body carries the weight, and the trip is financed, the excess baggage is paid for by a patron. Who is the patron? Maha Mataji. Yes, by a patron, Avidya. Yeah, self-ignorance. She is the patron of all these things. She is like, if the jiva says to Avidya, this is an imaginary conversation, okay? If the jiva says to Avidya, I have one more bag of desires, love, bring it on. I'll pay for it, don't worry. You have a third suitcase, bring it on. No problem. Your trip is paid for. And where is that trip? Because that trip includes heaven. So you go there and, sit in awe, look at Indra, and wave to someone there, and then take a selfie with Indra, and take a selfie with a yaksha, yeah. So, that is the thing. And I don't think there will be iPhones there, but some other version of it will be there, yeah. And then after the selfie, what happens? The self which is not aware of its own glory, the self which doesn't understand, which has not dropped the self-ignorance, gets booted out of the heaven. After no sooner than the selfie is taken with Indra, then what? You're booted out. Yeah. You don't even carry the digital imprint. Nothing comes. You're booted out of there. And then you go to some other loka. Have chit-chat with the Pitrus, mains, ancestors. Have a cup of chai with the ancestors. And then what? Go to some other loka. Ow. Yeah, no iPhone there. I groan, I moan. That kind of a loka. And then battered, finally the person comes back to another life in the Martya loka, in this world of the finite, And it is lucky if one has another human life, but that's not guaranteed unless one is on the track of the study and the spiritual growth. One is committed to spiritual growth and losing self-ignorance. This is not guaranteed. So then one is born again and again and again and again. So this is what the three-layered body. What is that? The physical body keeps changing. And the Sukshma Sharira also keeps changing because it keeps getting more and more burdened with Ragadveshas. The more lives one has, the more Ragadveshas one picks up, and in fact, the Sukshma Sharira is running a Ragadvesha nursery where all these are crying and clamoring for fructification. Ragadvesha daycare center and full of crying Ragadveshas. That is what the Sukshma Sharira is running. And then, based on the force of the desire, we say that the next birth it takes place. That's the whole thing. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, one more thing that is said is Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevram. So even if you think of me at the last minute, Bhagavan says that you can be spared from following useless Ragadvesha thoughts, Then, this is not an invitation to sit quietly. Last minute dekhenge. Why should I pray now? Why should I take Bhagavan's name now? Because you don't know when the last minute is. Yeah, you don't know when the last minute is. And so therefore, this is for the, regular person who is not exposed to Vedanta. But what happens for someone who is a jnani? This is a question I have been kept on, being asked. So what happens when the jnani drops the body? In fact, it is not even called death. It is called Maha Samadhi. Samadhi, samyak plus dha to place. To place properly. So what to place? All the priorities are properly placed. The I is properly placed where it belongs. That is Samadhi. The I is not bartered out to a lot of distractions. I want this, I want that, and for us even sitting in meditation, how much time has it been? Let me just see. Only 10 minutes, it feels like 1 hour. What happened today? This is what it is. How come nobody is ringing the bell? What's happening there? Who is making a noise? Even in meditation, the mind goes, all over the place. And so when the I is kept where it belongs, meaning it's not identifying with anything that is anatma. All anatma it sees as non-separate from itself, but it is separate from all anatma when the I is, self-aware and aware of its glory. When the I is properly placed where it belongs, that is what is called samadhi. And that, one can school oneself to have, this state. It is not the same as jnanam. It's a place of the training of the mind, where you train the mind so that the placement of the I is not disturbed. And so after a while of doing that, what happens is that you get familiar with that I so much that even when you are not meditating, you are really in samadhi, so to speak. You are not disturbed. So samadhi means a state of non-disturbance. And so what is the difference between samadhi and maha samadhi? So samadhi means you come back. So somebody, I can visualize, Pujya Swamiji sitting there, quietly with himself, and then somebody is saying, Swamiji, what should I do with this? And so he would turn around, look, okay, he has come back, somebody is pulling on the dhoti, I need your attention, please tell me what to do. Then he comes back. then again he's back to himself. It's that even when he comes back, so to speak, it's from the standpoint of the questioner, from the standpoint of the needy person who is surrendering unto him. It's not from the standpoint of Swamiji. It's not from the standpoint of the Gnani. There is no coming and going. Even in attending to the person, the mind is as though lelayati iva, dhyayati iva. This is a beautiful Upanishad Vakya. So it as though meditates and it's proud of itself. Yes, I am in Samadhi, but that itself breaks it out of Samadhi, right? Yeah. And then supposing it says, the mind, I am in Samadhi, then what happens? Then there is no more Samadhi, correct? Then the Upanishad says, lelayati. Lelayati means it is distracted. Dhyayati, it is with itself. Lelayati, it looked at the door, it looked at the window, it looked at, it attended a phone call, it talked to somebody. Lelayati. But then the whole thing is not just dhyayati, lelayati, some kind of a back and forth between dhyayati and lelayati. It is dhyayati eva. Yeah, as though I am with myself, as though I am in Samadhi, and then as though I am interacting. So that as though is known, and is known to Pujya Swamiji, as though is something which is wonderful. In fact, the term as though for Vedanta was coined by him alone and is copyrighted. Really, the copyright rests with him. So as though distracted because somebody came and talked. But really speaking, how can the Atma be disturbed? How can? Because disturbance means something else should be there to scratch at the surface, correct? Two things are needed. One is the disturber, the other is disturbed. Now, if there's only one thing, how can it be disturbed? And so that is what is Samadhi, is the proper, it's not just the yogic practice, but it's also the proper placement of the I from which, all actions and all, this is how it is with Mahatmas. All actions come from that place of actionlessness. So the actions and the actor and the acting become as though, really speaking, there is no disturbance, there is no action, there's nothing happening. All there is just I. Okay? So this is Samadhi. And then Maha Samadhi means there is no coming back. That is why it is called Maha Samadhi. So this is the meaning of the word Mahasamadhi. So we can tug, and it is not, we can tug at the, dhoti. Dhoti is left behind, clothes are left behind, body is left behind. We can tug at that, but it is not going to come back and answer, and that is what is the cause of mourning. But I'm not done yet. It's not going to come back and answer in the same way as we are used to. As we are used to, it's not going to that. So in other words, we have to learn a new language. This was another question. How do we communicate with Pujya Swamiji? Just how you have been communicating with him all this time. Simple. This is how you communicate. But that question I will answer presently. The first one is this, that when the Maha Samadhi takes place, what happens? The body is there for everybody to see. It has been left behind, correct? Yeah. So the gross body joins the gross elements, And what happens to the subtle body? The subtle body joins the subtle elements. Yeah. Why? Because there is no one to finance the trip. The causal body, which is the cause for this body to come into being. People get very confused about the term causal body. Causal body just means the cause because of which the body is incarnated. So the causal body is not there, destroyed. How? Through the study and assimilation of the knowledge of Vedanta, that which teaches that one is whole and limitless. So the causal body is thoroughly destroyed, and so there is no financer of the trips, correct? And the raga dveshas all have pacifiers. They are all sleeping. Yeah, they are not exerting a pressure. And many of them have dropped away, and those that are there are embellishments, like even Krishna's, what is that he wears? The feather in his cap, Krishna's feather, or his flute. Those are embellishments. We cannot say Krishna has raga and dvesha. Krishna has raga. Krishna is a butter addict. We cannot say that. Krishna is not a butter lord. Krishna is not a butter addict. If you take away the butter, he is not going to, say, I wish my life was better. Without the butter, my life is not better. He is not going to sit and mourn. He is not going to sit and mourn. These are embellishments. And in fact, they have, certain significance. And so, therefore, there is no causal body, and there is no causal body financing the trip of the subtle body through various lokas based on the desires. And so, therefore, the causal body not being there, there is no impetus, there is nothing that's going to come back. There is nothing that's going to come back. So, therefore, this is, so if people are, feeling, I wish I can meet Pujya Swamiji in the next life. So I'm just telling this, this is not, this is not, how the things work in the Shastra. So then, but that being said, this is all the Shastra, okay, nothing is born, nothing dies, that which is born, that which dies. But on the level of the Vyavaharika, on the level of the transactional empirical reality, there is a void, correct? There is a great void. And the void is greater, the greater is the void because the person's stature too. So it's a loss not only for, an individual. It happens sometimes, when some family member or somebody, departs, then it's the loss for the family and for the small, whatever their friends and the community circles were. But this is transcending family, transcending community. This is on the empirical level, it's a great loss, for the world. And so then the question is how to communicate with Pujya Swamiji. Somebody asked that, and I myself was asking myself that, because it's a very big thing. And I was sitting there, I was thinking of so many things. I was thinking of how whenever I saw him, I would always say, Pranam Swamiji, I would say in a booming voice. Then I was thinking, who will I say that to, And I was thinking like how to communicate. Because really speaking, that which was there for us to communicate was Bhagavan. Bhagavan plus. And this is a value added plus. The infinite Bhagavan plus the body, plus the mind, plus the senses, plus wonderful voice, plus a mind that was just, incredible mind, a wonderful voice, a compassionate, demeanor, an embodiment of compassion. All that is the infinite plus. And this was a plus for us because we could interact with all those things. And those things are not there. And so now what has happened is that while alive, Swamiji was venerated everywhere, and Mahatmas are venerated like that as Bhagavan. And so even after Maha Samadhi, what is there? Is only Bhagavan. So we are now, we have to graduate. Yeah, there is a graduation that has to take place. In the morning class, I told you, in the Bodhasara, that in every loss there is a gain. This is the gain. The ability to graduate, the potential to graduate, and the effort that I make to take this leap of communication. Because this is something that was, I was myself so much, pained, thinking, okay, who will I say pranam to? Whose feet will I touch with this much eagerness? And how will I communicate? I myself was in a quandary. And then I thought, okay, Bhagavan, all right, Bhagavan, let us, and then of course, the mind goes all over the place if you allow it to. And for a little while I allowed it to go all over the place. And then, even when Pujya Swamiji was available in this world, I have an altar and I was always putting the flowers on the altar. And then this time also, a few days ago, I put the flowers on the altar. And then, I looked at his face and I said, if you are listening, if you are hearing this, if you are able to communicate, show me a sign. And I had forgotten I said that. Then I came back, the two flowers were there on the photograph, one of them had fallen. A very rare occurrence because I have been keeping the flowers, they never fall, They have never fallen. So one of the flowers had fallen. And then, of course, I indulged myself a little more. And then I said, what did I say? I said, that could have been a fluke, correct? Yeah, because, wind blew, maybe the door was open, or the window opened, something. That could have been a chance thing. So I found myself thinking, this is a chance thing. And then I was thinking, this is so silly. Why are you thinking like this? But then I let myself think like this. I said, well, I need one more. What is that? Confirmation. I need a confirmation. So Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji, give me a confirmation. And he obliged. Promptly the other flower fell. You see, this is how to communicate. We have to graduate. So Pujya Swamiji is like a Bhagavan with a particular murti, an upasya murti, a murti that is pleasing to us, a murti that we have all been very fortunate to know, a murti that is very much, dear to our hearts. Murti means an embodied, an embodiment. Just like we have different forms of Bhagavan, Ishta Devata. This is like that is how to connect with. So there is a physical distance, but there is not a distance on the level of, on this level. So that is where, this is the gain. I'll be talking of a few gains. So this is one of the gains. This is a very important gain. It's like learning a new language, Suddenly somebody you adored, revered and loved so much has moved to another country, let us say. So then what has happened? So you have to learn that language, you have to learn that way of communicating. And so here Swamiji is Bhagavan, and the language to communicate with Bhagavan is called prayer. It can be in any language. Bhagavan is not confused if you start praying in English or Hebrew or any of the Indian languages. So the language is a language of prayer. And the language of prayer, fortunately in our tradition, takes on many different formats. Very beautiful. It can be a prayer of helplessness, Arta Bhakti. Arta Bhakti means a despo devotee. Yeah, that is what Arta Bhakti is. A devotee who is desperate because don't know where else to turn, was not particularly interested in praying before, but now has become very desperate. So this is what is called Arta Bhakti. And then the Bhakta who is the Bhakta, the devotee who is making deals with Bhagavan. If you do this, I'll give you a gold chain. As though Bhagavan is waiting for, this fellow's gold chain. This is why people make promises, But Lord Krishna doesn't judge this. Even though we may judge it and we say, oh, this is kind of a, like a adho bhakti. It's a kind of a lowly form of bhakti. We may judge it. Bhagavan does not judge it. Bhagavan says, if that is what it takes for this person to relate to me, that is all it is. That's fine. That's okay. So that's why the person will name their, factory or their business, Balaji Enterprises, and say 50% goes to you. I'll give it to Tirupati temple, like that. That is also okay. Then there is a Jignasu Bhakta, the one who says, who am I, who are you, and what am I relating to, and where are you? All these, the curious, desiring to know Bhakta, wonderful. And finally, the Jnani Bhakta, the one who says, you who are everything are non-separate from me. Still a Bhakta. So from the point of view of Bhakti, all these are Udaraha, exalted. Bhagavan says all these forms of communication are exalted. So, but the communication is what is important, the relationship. So this is now propelling us into taking a look at Bhagavan from a new and a very beautiful way. Because this is what Swamiji stood for, and this is what Swamiji talked about all his life, is how to relate to God, Bhagavan, Ishvara. This is what was if we can summarize in one sentence, what has he done for us all? It is that he has shown us Bhagavan, real. He has shown us that, and as well as we can see it. He has in fact given us more than we can take. So now this is again because we have the tools and we have Swamiji himself to relate to. And so we have to start relating, because Bhagavan is not some kind of a duty. It's not a duty that, oh, I have to pray in the morning, I have to say this, I have to do Arti, I have to do incense, oh, I forgot Naivedyam, okay, quickly, That is not, those are all, means. We cannot make the means into an end. If the means become an end, then the end is what about the end? The end. That's all. There is no end. So the means, here are kept as the means because the means are to help us focus, etc. We don't make them into the end. What is important is to craft and chart new ways of communicating with Bhagavan in the form of Pujya Swamiji. You can write it out, you can talk it out, you can, have a relationship, and, and that is his greatness, that even in his departure, he is continuing to teach. This is what he is continuing to teach. This is basically what the whole thing is. Even though he is not physically here, he is continuing to urge us to see this Bhagavan that he spent all his life teaching about, and to see that as, as something that you can relate to. And so what happens as a result, and this is something I have myself tried, the missing becomes less. Yeah, the missing becomes less because what is there to miss? You're talking to this, all the time. You're in conversation. You're in a relationship. And it's an exclusive relationship because nobody else, just like when Pujya Swamiji was here, everybody, this is what everybody loved, because everybody had a special and exclusive relationship. And everybody went away thinking, I am the best, east or west. That other person who just went in, who's that? That person is some riffraff. They just came today. I was here long ago. And I am the best. East or west, there's nobody better than me because he loves me the best. And you know what? If you sat down and exchanged notes with a few other people, very quickly it became clear that each person felt that way. This is what it is. This is what Lord Krishna in his Leela used to do. Antaram, Angane, Madhavam, meaning in between two women there was Lord Krishna dancing. The women here means they symbolize jivas. That's what it is. You must not take all these, Puranic stories literally. Otherwise we'll all become Wendy Donigers and, and her parampara. This is what it is. We'll say, okay, the promiscuous God and all that. That's not what is there. This is all, allegorical. So, each, the Gopika, each of the milkmaids thought Lord Krishna is dancing only with me. And when she thought that and she was dancing, she was happy. But when she looked over to see what was happening over there, she would feel alone, alienation. This is what Swamiji has always been talking about, this alienation. And so now we are confronted with two choices. One, of course, it's a choiceless choice, but because we are in America, I'm just presenting them as choices. So what are the choices? We can continue to feel alienated. We can continue to feel totally bereft. And we can continue to feel, unloved, abandoned, and, have a lot of chips on the shoulder, not the kind that you can eat, of course, the kind that bite. And we can go on like that. Or, what is the more sane thing to do is to see how to really put into practice the teachings and how to really use this to bridge the gaps that I have in my relationship to Bhagavan. Because now Bhagavan has become very accessible, because this is a Upasya Murti that one loves and one is totally, connected to. Because we have seen him walk, we have seen him talk, and we know, so that is something that can be maintained. So this is a very important gain. It is an encouragement and a blessing from Pujya Swamiji to graduate, because we are ready. We are ready to graduate. And this is something we can even write about. The journaling helps, I'm also talking about how to deal with the pain in the day-to-day, because that is also something which the Hindu Dharma emphasizes. We are not, we have one memorial and then we go about business as usual. We give it a long time in the tradition to grieve. This is important. We have to take the time to grieve. However it comes, whatever it comes. And grief is a very powerful and it can be a very creative tool. So it can be, made sublime. The grief is made sublime, it's sublimated into a creative expression. If you are good at writing, write out the grief. If you are good at talking, talk out the grief. If you are painting or poetry, whatever it is, channel the grief that way. So that way the grief itself becomes an offering, from which something can come. So this is some of the ways to do that. It's not that we are, not looking at the grief at all. So this is a big gain, because I'm learning how to pray. My prayer is going to be more effective because I have a connection with the Guru, and the Guru is Bhagavan. So therefore my prayer is going to become much more efficacious, and I'm going to be blessed as a result. Because even while Swamiji was here on this earth, I have never heard him say no. He could not say no. And so as Bhagavan, he is not going to say no. So definitely this is a very wonderful way to pray. And then, that is the first gain, is that I am learning how to relate to Bhagavan. Finally putting the teachings, into assimilation, into the assimilation mode. Then the second thing, which is a gain, is that because of this I am growing spiritually. I am becoming more accommodative, less reactive. I am becoming more secure, because the crutches are all gone now, Pujya Swamiji was a very big crutch, and that crutch is gone. And so this and the crutchless existence is the end point of all, person's growth. Whether they are Hindus or not, doesn't matter. Everybody has to grow to being a crutchless person. So now we cannot just say we have been dealt a blow. We have been dealt an opportunity to let go of the crutches. This is what it is, to let go of the crutches, to let go of this sense of dependency, and to forge within ourselves that security and that, self-adequacy, which is what Vedanta is all about, which is what Pujya Swamiji is all about. That is what he's all about, isn't he? That's what he was teaching all his life. And then, then there is another potential gain, and that gain is also another special way of being very, 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 very close to Pujya Swamiji. And it is working very, very well for me right now. Be very close to the Shastra. Yeah. If you are a teacher, keep teaching. Yeah. Even if there are no students, catch hold of some people. Catch hold of a few people, pay them to sit down, let them listen. If you are a teacher, And if you are a student, you study. This is the time to go deeper into the Shastras. Because everybody has some kind of a spiritual romanticism. I'll take one class, I'll just come back later. And then sometimes the spiritual romanticism is like a spiritual ego, which is called enlightenment ego. I know everything already. I already know. What will I get out of this? Nothing. I already know. So we avoid those extremes. And then the other extreme is I'll never know. Pujya Swamiji was alive for so long. Did I learn? No. So now how am I going to learn now? Yeah. So to the prospective teachers, I said, catch hold of students. And here I am telling to all the prospective, students, Shishya Vargas, catch hold of the teacher. Any teacher. In the lineage is safe. Yeah. That's why I can say, anybody in the lineage you catch hold of. Because they will be teaching the same thing that Pujya Swamiji taught. They may not be teaching it in the same way, but they'll be teaching it in the same thing. You will not go astray. So this is a time to do Ranga Pravesha. We have in the dance and the Natya Shastra. Natya Shastra, how do you translate Natya Shastra? there's a treatise called Natya Shastra. How do you translate that? Kya bolenge? This is that, yeah, you know. How do we translate that, Uma? Natya Shastra? Yeah, the dance, drama. Yeah, so the Shastra, a science of dance and drama, this Natya Shastra. And this, so there is a ceremony called Ranga Pravesha, also called Arangetram. Ranga Pravesha is when the student finally qualifies to do the debut, correct? Debut performance. And the debut performance is looked upon by the parents and by everybody in the community. Everybody comes to encourage this girl or boy, who's been learning for some time and still not completely perfected, but still, has learned to such a length of time that can, have a solo performance for 2 or 3 hours. This is called Ranga Pravesha. So Vedanta is the stage, okay? Vedanta is the stage, and the bells on your ankles are the Upanishads, and so with the help of that you have to enter the Shastra. You have to enter the Shastra. It is time. You cannot say, I don't know when my time has come, when it will be. If I am meant to get this knowledge, some call will come from somewhere. No, this is the call, okay? Yeah. I am calling all of you to come to Vedanta. No, now you cannot say the call hasn't come. Call has come, call is now. Yeah, this is what the whole thing is. Give it a try. See what it may have, for you. It is something, there is something that it is saying that is very pleasing to hear, that is very beautiful to hear, and that is something which is much needed to hear, much needed to listen. So give it a try. Commit, because it's not a one-time thing. It's a committed pursuit, just like anything else. If you want a medical degree, you can't just say, I'll attend one, dissection of a frog class, and then I will know what to do to the human being. You can't do that. That's just the beginning. You have to keep studying, and then residency. Before you are let loose into the world, into some hospital, you have to do internship, you have to do residency, you have to do, by the time you start practicing, you have grey hairs. This is what the whole thing is in medicine, and a lot of loans also. And here, but here it is free. You have neither loans, nor it is ayasa, nor an effort. It's an effortless effort. In fact, the teacher does all the work. You just have to sit. You just have to come and sit. So another way of being really close to Pujya Swamiji is to be very, 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 intimately close to the Shastra that was so dear to him, and that, of which he was the best proponent, in his time. So that Shastra one has to embrace. And it's not just a one-way embrace. It's not that I hug the Shastra. I have to allow myself to be embraced by the Shastra. This is what is called Atma Anugraha. The Guru's blessings are there. Pujya Swamiji blessed everyone to study. And then what? Shastra's blessings are there. They have come to your life. But are you going to permit yourself to be embraced by the Shastra? Are you going to let down the guard? Are you going to allow this to happen? That is not in anyone's hands. That is in your hands. Uddhared atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. So, don't put yourself down. Bhagavad Gita says in the 6th chapter. And, lift yourself up. Tell yourself you are worthwhile. You are worthwhile to pursue this. You are worthwhile for this knowledge. You are made for this knowledge. There is none other than you that deserves this knowledge. You are deserving of this knowledge. You want this knowledge. You have this knowledge. It is here for you. And allow yourself to be embraced by the Shastra. This is what is very, very important. So therefore we have the prayer. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu Tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu. Yeah, this is a very important Shanti mantra. Samaveda Shanti mantra very, very powerful. Ma aham. Ma doesn't mean mummy here. Ma means not. May I not. Ma aham brahma nirakuryam. Let me not turn my face away from Brahman. Let me not negate Brahman by getting distracted in so many other things that are there. And then Mama Brahma Nirakarot. May Brahman never be far away from me. May Brahman never negate me. As though Brahman has nothing better to do. Why will Brahman negate anybody? No, it's my own projection. I'm not worthy of this knowledge. So instead of thinking that, I say, the teacher doesn't like me and the teacher is not wanting me to study. All these are, fancies, and they have to be, we renew the commitment. We renew this commitment, and then what that? Anirakaranam astu. Let there be no negation, all around. Anirakaranam me astu. Let there be no negation for me. Tad atmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu. And all the qualifications described in the Upanishads of an ideal shishya, a student. What the student should be: non-reactive, accommodative, compassionate, ready to serve, ready to be there for another, having a little bit of space to do what is needed, and giving oneself the luxury of this knowledge. All these qualities, let they reside in me. This is what the whole thing is. Let they reside in me. So these are the two gains that I see, and in these two gains, from this inexorable loss, this very indelible loss that we all feel. We all feel bereaved, we all feel bereft. No doubt about that. Irreplaceable loss it is, but in the loss there is always gains, and this is Vedanta, which is full of paradoxy. Full of paradoxes. So this is one of the paradoxes, that in every loss there is gain. And then I see these two gains. And the two gains, of course, they double up also as means for spiritual growth. They double up also as means of prayer and communication. But it's really what he stood for. And it is really what, So in other words, we have to be him. We have to grow to be who he is, what he is. And the seeds are there. Seeds are there. It's not that, and when we talk to him, when we have talked to Pujya Swamiji, he never presented himself as anybody special. He never said, I am special and you are not. I am God but you are not. No. He said, I am a very ordinary person. I heard him say that. This was actually in he was talking to somebody in one of the big conferences in Switzerland. Somebody was very fascinated, some person and some religious leaders, and they came to him and they said, Swamiji, we are just so fascinated with what you said, and we really, so you must be some kind of a saint. And he said, I'm as ordinary as anyone else. I'm not anybody special. So, but we know that for us that is not true. We don't see Swamiji as an ordinary person at all, and we don't even see him as a person. He is Purusha. So what is that, what is that journey? What is that journey that makes a person grow? That journey has been, charted already by Pujya Swamiji. So when we see the life of, we are talking about Pujya Swamiji right now, but when we see the life of any saint, you see that their life was not a picnic. Yeah. Any saint, any revered saint you take, whether they are in this body or not in this body, you read about their lives, you will see in any tradition, that will also I will tell you, not just in the Hindu tradition. You take the saint in any tradition, you will see that the lives are were in the beginning, full of hardships, full of difficulties. So, does it mean that only people with difficult lives become saintly? No. It means that what you make out of those difficulties. So when you embrace those difficulties, you see them as an opportunity for growth. And this is what he has left us with. He has done that for himself. So the way is there, The way is there. And the Viveka Chudamani talks about this. The Viveka Chudamani says that there are certain people in this world who, like the spring, bless us with fragrance for no reason at all. Like when the spring comes and the flowers bloom, the flower doesn't say, stand in queue, first pay, then smell, then inhale. The flower just, without a reason, ahetuna. Ahetuna means without a reason. Vasantavat lokam hitam charantaha. Like the spring that just wants everybody to be happy. These people, santaha, these people who can truly be called existent because they have decoded the meaning of existence as nothing but Brahman, as nothing but the whole. And they have not only decoded it for themselves, they have taught about it to others. So such people go. And then they just bless, where their presence is itself blessing. Like the spring which does not exact a duty for inhaling the fragrance of the flowers. So Swayam Tirnaha, they themselves have crossed samsara. Anyanapi ahetuna tarayantaha. So they, without any cause, without exacting anything in return, they help others cross the same samsara. This is what is the beauty of it. And this is what he stood for, and this is what the whole thing, is. It's not a mystery, It's not mystery. It is something which is very visible. And each time there are difficulties. This is how we pay homage to Pujya Swamiji. This is the third and the very important way of being very close to him, is that, life will be full of difficulties. Each time there are difficulties, I take it as an opportunity to grow. And when I do that, he's smiling like in the photo. Yeah. Om Tat Sat. So I will stop here, and what we can do is, shall I take questions and then we will do some sharing? Yeah, I'll take a few questions both here and online, and then we can people can share. I want Janani to say a few things, and then people can share. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Ask.
So I have two questions. One is, what do you mean by Shastra? What is that?
Yeah, what do I mean by Shastra? Very good question.
And then number two is, so what really happens to his jiva?
Because there is no jiva. Jivatvam is not there. While he was living, he was completely free and he was Bhagavan, and after Maha Samadhi, he continues to be Bhagavan. Jiva means Atma plus ignorance is called, Atma plus self-ignorance is called Jiva. Self-ignorance not being there, there is no Jivatvam. There is no, there is no Jiva there. There is only Atma, and Atma is nothing other than Brahman. So even while it was alive, in that body it was Brahman, and after it dropped the body, that, Atma is again, continues to be Bhagavan, continues to be Brahman. So that is a good question. Shastra here, what I am referring to is the second portion of the Veda. Vedanta, the last portion of the Veda. And what is Vedanta here are the Upanishads, Prasthanatrayi, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra, because they have something to tell you about yourself that you don't yet know, that one is in the process of knowing, one is wanting to be that, one is wanting to know that, but one doesn't know how. They have something to say that is beyond this culture, the Hindu culture, that's beyond the trappings of organized religion, that's beyond these rules and rituals that everybody gets caught up in. It's something to say about you as a human being, as a person, and something that is very pleasing to hear, something that you have been yearning to hear for many, many lifetimes, and something for which you have managed to get a human being's birth. Somehow the force of those desires have prevailed and you are in a human body. So this is what is Vedanta. And this is not a one-time thing. What you have to do is pursue this with a commitment, just like a medical degree or whatever it is. You have to pursue it with commitment. And so it's not like it's not, we don't even say the word enlightenment. Sometimes I'm constrained to use it, so I cheat. But generally, I don't use the word enlightenment. Self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is not some enlightenment or some kind of an event that happens to the self. If enlightenment is an event that happens to the self, the event becomes greater than the self. So here it's not an event. So in fact, nothing happens to the self. The self is unassailed, unafflicted, free, whole and total. So what is happening is that the encrusted layers of, the broods of ignorance, karma, wrong thinking, misconceptions, I'm as good as the body, this one didn't pay me respects, this one did not do this to me, that one is hurting me, why am I doing this, why am I doing that, this whole, all these layers of misconceptions drops. That's why we say ajnanam drops. So actually, ajnanam is not the cause for problems. Even the cat doesn't know, dog doesn't know, I am God and there is a spelling mistake in my name. No, it doesn't. It doesn't think that. Yeah, dog doesn't think that. Dog is also having ajnanam. But the human being, because of the free will and because the universe has gifted us with this prakriti, Mother Nature has gifted us with this free will, we are having endless complexes. So when I say ajnanam drops, ajnanam drops because the complexes drop. Ajnanam is not a problem. It is, it is not agrahanam. Not knowing myself is not the problem. But I know myself enough to make a mistake on the self. Just like seeing a hose pipe, in the grass, in twilight, like right now. You go out and you say, eek. What? Snake. And then what? You bring a torch from inside the house, flashlight, and you shine the flashlight. Oh, this is just hose pipe. Yeah. So my question to you is, where did the snake go? Did it quickly slither away? Did it hide? Did it jump into your clothes? No. Where is the snake? Where did the snake go? The snake was never there. And if it was there, it was a projection. It resolved back into the mind. It beat a retreat, correct? Yeah. So this is the misperception is removed. So when I say ajnanam has to drop, self-ignorance has to drop, means these miscommunications and these misperceptions have to drop. That's what the whole thing is. And that is what Shastra means. That's what Shastra can do for you. And the word Shastra contains that. Shasanat trayate iti Shastram. That is Shastra. Trayate protects through teaching. That teaching which protects you from really self-sabotage, from yourself. That teaching which protects you from all sources of fear and sorrow is called Shastra. That's what I am defining it as. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything online? What is Bhu Samadhi? A good question. Bhu Samadhi means the Maha Samadhi has taken place and the sacred body of that Mahatma that has been vacated, recently vacated. There is two options for Mahatmas. One is called Jala Samadhi and one is called Bhu Samadhi. Either you enter it in the ground or you put it in the water. So Jala Samadhi or Bhu Samadhi. Jala Samadhi is not advocated because the rivers are very polluted. That's not a very responsible thing to do. So Bhu Samadhi is in practice. And the reason why the cremation is not advised is because when the Mahatma has severed ties with the family and sannyasa has been taken, and even if the person is not physically a sannyasi but mentally a sannyasi, still there is no ties in the same way as the family. So niragnihi means there is no fire being kept. The Avahani, Agni, Garhapatya, Agni, all these kinds of, there are 3 fires and they are given to newly married couples by the parents like this, and then they keep a fire and give it to the children, and then they do yajna with that same fire every day. This is what a Vaidika does. And at the end of the life, one's own body becomes the final offering to that fire. But here the sannyasi is not doing rituals. Niragnihi nishkriyaha. So no rituals are being done, and the sannyasi is not, doing any rituals. And so therefore where is the Agni going to come from? So the Agni is not advocated. So therefore, Bhu Samadhi, you put them, you put the body with all the rituals, and you put salt so that the body undergoes through these, the invisible bacteria, act upon the body quickly, and then the visible, all these bugs and all don't come. When the salt is put, holy ash is put, and then people bring different pieces of earth from various parts of the holy places of India. All that is put, and the person is, the body is, the sacred body being laid to rest is called Bhu Samadhi. And some Bada question here, let us see. Let us see. Yeah, I am very happy that you are all here. This is from an article by Swami Viditatmananda ji about Pujya Swamiji. Sri Shankaracharya, while attempting to, we know that. That's not a question. Okay. Yeah, so why 250? Don't forget to count yourself like the 10th man. Yeah. So not just 250, thousands. Anybody who thought of him as a teacher, anybody who's thought of him as a teacher can consider oneself Pujya Swamiji's disciple. Even now, if you think of Pujya Swamiji as a teacher, you are his disciple. Yeah. Any other questions here? Yes.
So you mentioned that people have rebirth every time there's thisness that goes with that, but if maybe Pujya Swamiji is reborn, is that?
Pujya Swamiji will not be reborn.
Okay. So
Because rebirth is only for people who have self-ignorance. So when the self-ignorance is not there, you will also not be reborn. Yeah, that is the beauty of it.
So then the thisness is Bhagavan?
Yes,
Okay.
it's all as Bhagavan. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, so now we will go to the other part of the program where people who have met Pujya. This is a time to share, and you can do this online also, especially on this Adobe Classroom. So you can listen to people's experiences, you can comment on them, you can also talk about your own experiences, etc. And then we can do that. So I will ask Janani to start, and then we can go from there. Why don't you come here and you sit here, because then we don't have to keep moving the cameras.
It's really nice to see everybody here. So I was really blessed. I consider myself very blessed. I spent 3.5 years with Pujya Swamiji. And the last time I had to talk in a microphone was in front of Pujya Swamiji. And actually the microphone was too small, and so they had to move it up. I was kind of having to bend over, so I moved it this time now. So I consider it the greatest blessing in my life to have spent that 3.5 years with Pujya Swamiji. And some of the more memorable, well, when I first met Pujya Swamiji, Swamini had said to me, you go to Salesburg and meet Pujya Swamiji. I hardly knew Swamini, it felt like at the time. And here I didn't even know the word Swami until really meeting Swamini. So I went over to Salesburg, and Swamini had said, you go and ask him these questions. And one of them was to, what text should I be reading? Another one of them was have him look at my horoscope. And the third one was about some other more personal thing. So I went in and I asked Pujya Swamiji the first question, and he told me the text. The other questions were out of the head because I didn't know a lick of Sanskrit, and all I'm doing is sitting there thinking, okay, I have to remember this munda, and v, and I ran out of his room. I went And down the stairs, you had to go down the stairs, straight to the bookstore, and I'm standing there saying, I need to get 2 books. One of them's something, and anyway, they worked out which the books were. Well, it turned out later on that Pujya Swamiji had actually come out of the room after me and was going to ask me in for breakfast, but I had to run so fast because the words were going out of the mind. So that's my first memory of my meeting with Pujya Swamiji. So what can I advise? Always have pen and paper with you when you're around any Mahatma. And then another really very touching thing in Anakati. I'd been there maybe, I don't know, I don't remember how much it was. And again, it was one of those, it wasn't very long. It was one of those things where I was completely ignorant of the traditions. And so after class in the mornings, we all used to go up to the kutia and we'd offer our pranams and then leave. And this particular morning, I'd been up, I'd done my pranams, and Swamiji always gave out fruit, and so he'd give me a piece of fruit, and I stood back. And he took another piece of fruit. It was a banana. He peeled it. He took a big bite out of it, and then he held it out. And I looked behind me, because I already had my piece of fruit. I looked behind me, and he's like, like this. And so he gave me this half-eaten banana. Well, I didn't realize what a blessing that was. So I walked out of there, and there was somebody else with me. I walked out, and I was hungry. Everyone's always hungry at the ashram. So I happily chomped on this half-eaten banana. All of a sudden, there was all these people asking, "Oh, can I have a piece of that banana? Oh, that's such a blessed thing." And anyway, so the other thing is, if Swaminiji ever takes a bite out of something, gives it to you, okay, share it with everybody else. You don't just devour the thing, hungry or not, okay? So, and then a third time that was really touching with Pujya Swamiji, not a third, there's so many times, but to watch Pujya Swamiji with children was just such a blessing. The school children from the Chatradias would come to the ashram at least once a year. There was one festival. What was the festival, Swamiji? The one up in Murugan Temple? Not the Taipu. Shankranti. Yes. And they would all come, and they would draw the little rangolis all the way up these steps to the temple up on the hill. And Pujya Swamiji would come, and he would talk to every single one of them. And then there'd be pictures of him surrounded by these children, and he'd just sit there, and he was the world's best children's storyteller, as he was the world's best teacher of Vedanta. So those are my pieces that I would like to share. There's many, many more, but I would like other people to share as well. And I will end by saying that having sat with Pujya Swamiji for 3.5 years, I do recognize how the lineage really does. What Swaminiji was saying was that Pujya Swamiji is not gone in so many ways, and the parampara carries on, and we get what Pujya Swamiji teaches through the teachers, and especially through our Swaminiji here. So, thank you.
So, who else? You both have met. You can come. Yeah. Come here and sit and talk so that everybody knows. Introduce yourself, because everybody doesn't know your name.
So I am Deshpande, and we went to Sailorsburg twice. So the first time we went, it was a 1-week course. Some of you were there, and Swamiji said he's going to spend a whole week on just one shloka. And of course, hour after hour it went, every day 1 hour. And
Gita in one verse.
Gita in one verse. And
that was the one.
Yes. And by the time he had finished it, you had the whole Gita, that one shloka. In order to understand it, one really had to know the whole Gita. So that was one experience.
And not to crash in on your experience.
Sure, please. You were there. Yes.
I was so excited when you brought that out, because it was a week long of lectures, and until the fourth day we did not even know which verse. That is how he was teaching.
Yes.
And then everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people who are used to, who are used to having a certain way of being in life. I need to know, I'm all organized, I'm in control. He was like, Swamiji, I have brought the Gita, whole Gita, which verse? He would say, it will come. Maybe next time, maybe not. And so this way, until the fifth day, we did not know which verse. As it turns out, it was that, the 29th verse of the 7th chapter,
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember
Okay.
that. And then this is so. As it turns out, that was what it was. But then a lot of people were getting very antsy, and then because and then this was the teaching was right there. So the teaching is sometimes through the talking, and sometimes through not talking. Because here it was through not telling, and everybody had to just get to a place of ease within themselves until the verse itself was revealed. So please go on. Sorry to say.
No.
I just get crashed in your experience.
The other experience is we were trying to, Kanchan and I wanted an audience with Swamiji. Now, in Salisbury, there is a lady, Gita, who controls the doors. Unless she says yes, you have no chance. So it took us, I think, maybe the fifth attempt. On the fifth day, we said, look, we have to go now. Next day, we have to see him. Swamiji had to intercede. And then, we could go in. And we had a good conversation. We talked a little bit about physics because I'm a physics professor. But then, I asked him a question. And of course, Swamiji always tells us the answer, but this is the question I asked. So, moksha, does it take place in a flash, all of a sudden? And he said, no. That it comes gradually. The understanding comes gradually. And the other thing he said, the method to get it is contemplate. Just contemplate. And, I think you have always said that. But, people still think it comes in a flash.
So moksha, the understanding of self?
Moksha is freedom.
Understanding of,
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Moksha is freedom. Is based on self-understanding, because freedom is not something to be attained. That wholeness that you seek is what you already are. The seeker and sought are one. Yeah, that is what it is.
So we went again once more. That was his 80th birthday. And again it was a week-long thing. And but I won't tell you anything more about that. I'll leave it at this. Thank you.
Rahul?
We come to keep that in place?
Yeah, you come here.
No.
Yeah.
Asking if this will be removed eventually.
Yeah, eventually I think it will be removed, which is nice like this, isn't it?
It should stay.
It should stay. Okay.
And you should allow me to place something on it.
Yeah, please. Please place whatever you want. But we don't know because Janani's ashram, Janani's house. You come and do puja.
It's been,
Yeah.
hasn't been your house for some
I
time.
made a poem to
You wrote a poem?
Swamiji
Yeah, you wrote a
in
poem.
the early 1970s.
Yeah. Tell your name and
My name is Raul. What else is that you want me to say?
when you met Pujya Swamiji.
I first met Swamiji Dayananda. He came to Hawaii in the late 60s, and he requested a few youngsters, which were with me at the time, to come to India, because there will be a course started with Swami Dayananda. But by the time he came back to India, he gave the Swami Dayananda sannyasi. And we came down to India, all four of us, and the first course in there, in Bombay. And in the middle of the course in there, Swami Dayananda ji addressed to me as saying, get your things together, we're leaving. Okay. So we went to Rishikesh. So we went to visit his guru, the Brahma Sutra guru,
Swami Dayananda ji.
Dayananda ji. And I have to confess to all of you, I missed the trip. I missed the trip in the sense that when I was there, Dayananda ji came outside, so I did my pranam to it, and Swami Dayananda ji says, you're gonna stay here for as long as you want it. You don't need to go back to America. If you know Swami Dayananda ji, the way I look at it, I came to know him, is I said, no, I'm leaving. It scared the crazies out of me. Because he was very powerful. I can explain that he was something different.
He has, let's put it this way, he had his own and very effective ways of teaching.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I cannot be more eloquently said. But as I came back, and but thanks to Swamiji, I will say, he have, without needing to communicate words between each other, he have helped me all the way through my life. In a sense that prior to meeting them, and prior to meeting Sai Baba and Chimayananda and Murti and another Baba there, the United States government have put in me a choice. You know, you go back to your country or you come over and serve. So they shipped me up to Vietnam. And it was quite an experience. You know, I can't say that I recommend it or anything like that, no. So I needed somebody. I need some spiritual guidances. I need some spiritual something to hold on to it. And Swami Dayananda ji has been that spiritual something that I held on to, and I still do. Every single day I have prayed, and every single day I sit down with him. It hasn't been one day in my life, not even one day, that I not sit. As soon as I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I do my prayers. The first things I do, I put his voice on in front of me, and I just listen to Gita. The last one was just last week, Advaita, and all my life has been like this, and thanks to him, I am where I am.
Wonderful. Thank you. Paul, please come.
Oh, I want to ask you if you allow me to place in here
Please.
a poem that I wrote.
Yes.
I wish it would be.
You want to read it?
I don't know if I can read it. It's been so long. I never open it.
Then you can just place it, no problem.
Oh.
You place it there. You place it there, that is fine.
Yeah, you can put it here.
You put
Oh.
it right there. Put it on the Padukas.
Yeah, put it on there.
It's an offering.
Somebody can come over and say something to
Paul, come. Please come. We had a, we had a worship, Paduka Puja, and then everybody got a chance to do Arti. You can do that afterwards, if you would like. And then I said a few things, and then now we are in the next, part is sharing stories. So whatever you want to share about Pujya Swamiji, you can do that.
I think this will be fun. Thank you. Well, since the news came, the Swamiji's passing, personally I've been pretty busy at work, so haven't had a lot of time to think about it. But it's catching up. So this evening in the shower on the way here, I was thinking about, kind of dawned on me that, there's no more having the opportunity to be in his presence. And that's starting to set in. I first met Swami Dayananda in 1976. And so I don't know what the math is, but basically I've been in his presence since 1976, which is second thought that came to me, how fortunate I have been. Really fortunate to have had him in my life since 1976. In those years, 3 years after I met him, which is, anyway, a few years after he found me, I was not a person. In those days, people were seeking to find liberation in the 70s and 60s, and so they were looking for people. I ended up in front of him, not looking for him, but so I figured he found me. So 3 years later, they purchased a property in Piercy, which I ended up attending that course, and after the first half, participating in the operation of it, facilities-wise. And, I mean, really speaking, we were the most fortunate people with reference to having satsang with Swamiji, because we were like 4.5 hours from San Francisco, and a lot longer than any place else where people were coming. So other than 1 weekend a month and during the summers, we had him. He taught all the courses, except Sanskrit, but all Vedanta only Swamiji taught. Both courses I was at, which is pretty unique nowadays, or lately anyway, especially. Anyway,
The people online would like you to speak up a little, they cannot hear you.
oh, people are online, okay.
Yeah, there's 47 here and 30 over there.
We have to get a splitter here.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Close to the mic, they want you to speak, they're giving suggestions.
so for 3 years it's Piercy. So satsang is where I left off. So that, it was classes during the day, studying just like any course, and the students did all the cooking, all that, just like the one in Sailorsburg later. But in his quartier, his house, there was an old house that had a fireplace in the living room that was bigger, about as big as this, without the staircase. And we would sit there after class in the evening in front of this fireplace, and then he would talk, and people would ask questions, and it was dark, and that was like the most intimate thing. That was pretty nice anyway. That's an experience that never has been repeated, because he became a bigger person publicly as the years went on, and it became less time to be in a situation like that, and plus it was more people, so it was less intimate. Anyway, so I was fortunate there. After the course was over, and Swamiji went back to India, and Piercy ended up not being as part of Swamiji being part of Piercy anymore. I was there at the end of the course when everybody left. And when the course is over, everybody goes, and the energy really changes. And then when the Swami goes, it's not there at all, which is interesting. So when he comes back, it comes back. It's just a different level. It's always there. Okay, I'm getting just rambling on. So if I'm saying too much, let me know. Sorry. So, okay. So then there was 3 years in between courses, and then there was another effort to do one in Salisbury, which I got to go to, and I was basically part of the staff that helped build it. All again in the presence of this guy, and watching how he interacted with, this place was purchased on a shoestring, 14 acres, old cottages, and he fundraised his whole adult life in the years I knew him, but there was never any money, so that it all went to keep things going. Anyway, so from nothing is what's there now. If you've been there, it's not the same as what it was in those days, because most of the facilities have been changed. But it's a lot of energy going there. So I just want to say one other thing, and it's when I was at Salisbury, there was about a year, I think a little bit less, where I was in the management position. Most of my work was with facilities. And trying to be a manager at ashram is pretty crazy. And when he would leave, then I would say, how are we going to get by? And all this. And he told me then, how are we going to do this without you? And he said, I'm with you even when I'm not here. That's something that has never left and has continued. So that has carried me, okay. And I come to realize now that, when part of this realization tonight was that, contact isn't going to be there anymore. And so what he was really saying is that he's always in there because of how I come out, is because of what I learned and observed by being in his presence. And for that I'm truly grateful and lucky. So the other thing I want to say is what personally this has helped me in my time with Dayananda, Swami Dayananda, and all these experiences with him. And Vedanta itself had the biggest benefit for me personally has been the freedom of fear by knowing what is the reality of myself and what is real and is not touched by any situation that we deal with here, which is a huge gift. And he could make you see like nobody I've ever seen or heard, which is not a lot of people, to tell you the truth. But I didn't need to hear anybody else. First person I ran into, and how fortunate is that? So, astrology thing, I suppose. So, anyway, that realization, the biggest realization was realizing that it's not the physical presence, it's not even knowing that there's going to be a time when it comes again, but it comes through how I deal with the world. So anyway, I'm very fortunate.
Thank you, Paul. Harinder, Gordon, both of you can come. This time I'll ask you to hold this close to you and also speak into the mic. Introduce yourself and then...
Are you going to speak as well? I'm Gordon, and I want to defer to Harinder, my wife, who's had more of an opportunity to be with Swamiji in the flesh, but I think it came instinctually that sort of had a relationship with him long distance, almost from the start. But I did have the opportunity to go to DC when he was there. Is this not loud enough? Because I can speak up a little bit.
Yeah, please speak up.
I did go to Washington DC when he was visiting there, and it was a remarkable occurrence. Like I think a lot of you have had the opportunity. We realize in retrospect how amazing our experiences were, because he was very unassuming. Oh, okay, I guess we sit here and talk, and then you realize later, oh my gosh, what an incredible opportunity, you got to sit there and talk, where other people may not have had quite the same experience. When we were in the middle of this large group of people, it was time to give out the prasad. Thank you. It was time to give out prasad, and they brought baskets and baskets full of fruit, bananas, and I don't remember what all else there was, because he was suddenly in this process of handing out enormous amounts of prasad to people as they would come one by one, and they would give their pranams, and then he would he would bless a piece of fruit, hand it to those of us who were sitting next to him who were helping, and it got to the point where it was a little bit, there was a press of people coming, and so breaking with protocol, I picked up with one piece of fruit, I picked up a banana, and I started to hand it to the next person in line, and Swamiji just gracefully picked it up. He said, he blessed it and gave it to the person and said, coming from you, it's a piece of fruit. From me, it's prasad. And it was such a wonderful way of his that I didn't even feel embarrassment or feeling mortified, which I probably would have been had it been any other person. But it was a teaching moment, and as everything, every instant in his life, a teaching moment was never abandoned. He always seized the moment to teach another lesson to anybody. So I was very blessed to be a part of that. And now I will give over to Harinder.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I have the greatest blessing of knowing Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji, through my teacher, Sri Swaminiji. So I never see a separation between these two teachers, because the teaching itself comes alive through them, as it does from everyone in the lineage. So that is, I cannot relate to Pujya Swamiji as a person who lived and then who passed away, who left the body, because he's always alive in the teaching. That is my blessing. I was fortunate, thanks to Swaminiji's blessing and also my family's blessing, to be with Pujya Swamiji about a month ago. I was able to go to Salzburg, and I was going to be there only for a few days, and the day I arrived, Pujya Swamiji's health was on the poor side, and they took him to the hospital in that evening. And I always kept saying to myself, okay, he's not feeling well, I should not really go bother him, and just let him be and rest. I kept saying this to myself until the day before I left, because people were saying his health was not getting any better, and everybody was kind of in a, everybody was, feeling this anxiety, and it was very gloomy, really. And then I finally, I decided to bite the bullet and go to his kutir. Actually, I didn't realize he was in the hospital. I thought he was back in his kutir. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go ask to see him. So who opens the door? Itaji. And she was apparently, everybody was feeling really sad, but everybody was at the same time trying not to feel sad, suppressing that feeling. So it was tense, And then I asked, I said, please let me go bow to him. And she was like, what are you talking about? He's not even here. She was upset, but she was upset in a very graceful way. So that is something to really watch coming from her. And she said, what are you talking about her? The guy is sick, everybody should respect that and not want to see him. And then she said, go bow to Dakshinamurti and pray. That's where you see him. I said, thank you so much for telling me this, because I've been telling this to myself, but I didn't have the courage to say it out loud. I will go do that. I did that, and then after a while I went to front office, and that's where I saw Swaminiji, and she said, quick, go to the hospital. And that's when Pujya Swamiji told everyone at the ashram that they could go see. And by the end of the day, everybody literally at the ashram went to the hospital, saw him, and by the end of the day, Pujya Swamiji put a smile on every single being at the ashram. He lifted up this, gloomy, really sad atmosphere, and it just like the joy bloomed in everyone's heart. It was something to watch. Pujya Swamiji, he is love, and by the way he acts, you say that it's like there's no need to prove love. But for those who need that love to be proven, he gives them that. It's really amazing. When I went to see him at the hospital, I really didn't know what to say to him. I only was able to say I was Sri Swaminiji's student, and I had Lord Dakshinamurti in Eugene, his 2 pictures, and I told him I brought these, and then he just opened his eyes and looked at me, and that was all I needed. His subtle body was so strong, despite having difficulties physically, that he was able to see and meet everyone where they were at, and then take them to a higher level where everything that was going on was released in everyone. I could watch this. So that was my very great blessing. And yesterday, when we were having Lord Dakshinamurti's 4th year anniversary at the shrine, Swaminiji said, this is, we were looking at Lord Dakshinamurti, and Swamiji was saying, we see Pujya Swamiji in him. And that's when it just cleared in my head. The teaching teaches us, this mind-body body-sense complex is here as though, but we relate to Bhagavan through a form. So in that moment, I was able to see how Bhagavan lended his presence to Pujya Swamiji, and how that presence blessed us, and now it's, back where it belongs.
Namaste. I met Pujya Swamiji in his words in his books, where I found that he was imitating and repeating my Satguru, our Satguru Swamini. And by her grace, I was able to go to Saylorsburg and have darshan of Pujya Swamiji and sit in the kutir there with crowds. But also the grace to sit alongside Harinder with Pujya Swamiji in his little room. I think Satnarayan may have been the only one there, And I heard Harinder ask Pujya Swamiji to come visit us, so many students in Eugene. I heard him say yes. He has fulfilled his word. He's shed the form that limited our understanding. It kept him in a place. So now he is here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to say anything? You have met Pujya Swamiji? No, you have not. Is there anybody else who has met and would like to speak? We still have a few minutes before the program ends, and I'm going to read. That's not a good idea, is it? Yeah. This mic has seen better days. I'm going to read a few things that are there online so that everybody can enjoy some of the experiences online that people have shared. Let's see here. My favorite memory, this is from Kavita, of Pujya Swamiji is from Rishikesh, where he was in his best and most child-free spirits. He loved sweets but was not allowed many at that time. He had February 2013, but he had found a way out gleefully. He would say, I have to give prasad, and what they have made in the kitchen today, and Rishikesh Ashram makes the best Indian sweets. And we ate many jalebis and laddus. No, I'm making up the laddus. Yeah, laddus. No, laddus are there. Many jalebis and this. Yeah, wait, let me increase this here. So the scroll feature is not very good here. So there we go. Yeah. Now where did those laddus go? Yeah, here we are. Yeah, many laddus and jalebis in this manner. So so did he, even while his whoever around him were upset about it. Of course, his singing after every class in Amikatti was my favorite part. He would go up on a high pitch and then low, just to see how we were all coping, and then laugh on the side. And yeah, so that is the thing. And then what? Then all these rather touching. This is from James, who lives in Manchester, and I know him because he's taken a 1-month course and he follows the classes online, although not in real time because of the time differences. So James says, a rather touching memory from the Vedanta camp in Rishikesh this past March was when Pujya Swamiji arrived from Coimbatore late in the evening, visibly tired, experiencing discomfort, but still he accommodated everybody and gave satsang in the lecture hall that night. So yes, that is it. And Prashant and Unnati from Atlanta, they have this to share. So many memorable experiences with Pujya Swamiji, hard to pick up just one. And however, when I visited Saylorsburg in 2012, it was my intention to be initiated in Upanayanam. I visited Swamiji in the Kutia to ask his permission and blessings to undergo the ceremony with Ravi Chandran, the priest there in Saylorsburg, in the Yajnashala. Pujya Swamiji gave the blessings, and as I was exiting the room, he called after me and said, "Come to me afterwards." After my Upanayanan ceremony, I visited Swamiji and he asked me to show him my newly acquired Janeu, the sacred thread. He held it softly in his hand and, wonder of wonders, made me repeat the Gayatri mantra after him and explain word by word the meaning as well. This is surely Ishvara Kripa. What better person to be initiated into the Gayatri from? We are very fortunate to continue seeking his sustained blessings through Swamini Ji. My namaskarams to the entire Arshvidya Sampradaya. Yes, you are very lucky, Prashant. That is wonderful. Yashoda says, Pujya Swamiji is my Parama Guru. I am a student of Pujya Swami Ji Brahmanishtananda Saraswati. We are lucky that Pujya Swamiji graced his presence to our house for Bhiksha. Later on, after a few years, I was given Mantrobadesha, Mahalakshmi Bijakshara by Pujya Swamiji. Swamiji is always with us at all time. Distance never mattered. Now also I, feel his presence. Thank you for this meeting. Yes, thank you for coming. Then Aparna from Atlanta. I have not seen you in a long time. Yes, I'm glad you're here today, Aparna. I was missing you because each time I come to Atlanta, I ask about you. We had a few memorable experiences with Pujya Swamiji and his kindness. Once we were passing through some difficult times. Brother was sick, sister in UK was sick and couldn't walk and was going through a lot of pain. Doctors couldn't diagnose for several months. It was very disconcerting. We went to Swamiji in Salisbury. At the end of the satsang, he was very tired. We were hesitating to approach him given how he was looking tired. However, on seeing that we wanted to talk to him, he waved at us to come in, listened carefully to what we had to say, and slowly whispered to us not to worry. We were very touched by his gesture. Within a few hours, we received words that from my sister that the doctor had found out what was troubling her, and it was a rare form of TB, and then started to treat her. We felt as though a huge weight had been lifted from us. And we are fortunate to have completed the Bhagavad Gita course. Another time we wished we could meet him but couldn't make it to Salisbury. Then Ganesh, Shilpa, Medha says, it was our beloved Swamiji's Maha Samadhi that brings tears to my eyes. It is his love. He was an extraordinary teacher, but how he was taught me more than anything else. And Ganesh from New Jersey says, a couple of times from an essay I wrote on Swamiji's 80th, couple of lines from essay I wrote on Swamiji's 80th birthday. Please don't type as I am reading because it jumps and I'm not very good at following this, and the scroll feature here is not very, very good. Okay, so just hold off typing for a bit. It is a great blessing that not only I have an opportunity to live, okay, we have lost again, let's see, where did it go? It's a great blessing that I not only have an opportunity to live in the same century, but also to regularly listen and meet with such a great Mahatma. He is so accessible to anyone, no matter how small, big, young, old, rich, poor. What an apt name for such a great Mahatma with unlimited compassion and caring towards anyone who was blessed to come across him. Then Tripti says, Pujya Atlanta, Tripti and Hemang say that Pujya Swamiji's presence will also be around through his teaching and through my Guru. I spent one day in Salisbury which was life-changing, very special in every way, and made me feel special just as you mentioned in your talk. Hemang received his Ashirwad in Anekatti in January, and we are indeed blessed to be part of this lineage. Medha again says, Salisbury Gurukulam put up an impressive tent to house the grand program of the 26th anniversary celebration. I was walking into the tent prior to the commencement and happened to run into Pujya Swamiji making his entrance. He alighted from a golf cart and did not enter the tent. He stopped at the tables, noticing what preparations were made and whether the refreshment for the guests were in order. This care and interest he took in the small details were very touching. Yes, indeed. So thank you all for sharing this, and now we know how to be close to Pujya Swamiji. And I'll conclude with one thing that I have often said, so the people in this room all know. There is a saying, what does it say? When you are ready, the teacher appears. I have my own way of looking at this saying. I say, when you are ready, the teacher disappears. So people get scared when they listen to this. They say, where are you going? What is going to happen to me? And this is what, we think. Teacher doesn't disappear. Teacher disappears as you, in you. That's what it is. Yeah. Teacher disappears as a separate entity. That is what it is. And so this is what Pujya Swamiji has given us an opportunity to look at this sentence and to really see the blessing in this sentence. When you are ready, the teacher disappears in you as you. So that is basically what we have to do that. So we'll say the closing prayer, and then there is prasad, and there is prasad here, and there is prasad for here also. And we have tried to replicate some of Pujya Swamiji's favorite dishes we'll all be enjoying today in his honor. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityona Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you. That concludes the online streaming program, and there will be class next week. Next Saturday we have Bodhasara, and I will be coming for Bodhasara next Saturday from 9:30 to